Hello, I'm Justin Porter, and today's date is the 13th of February 2024, and this is little Tommy, and the title of my video tonight is Christianity or Evolution. Which one is correct? Now, if you look at my wife's cat here, like my wife and I have a cat called Tommy. If you look at his ear, he can rotate his ears with sound. Tommy, he can move his ears. You know, animals, cats and dogs can twitch their ears. Well, humans, we have three little muscles that we can twitch our ear, but not everyone can. For instance, I can't move my ear. Doesn't matter how hard I try, I cannot move my ear, twiddle my ear. But some people can twiddle their ears. I can't. You may be able to twiddle your ear. There's three little muscles, but they don't work. But some people's ears, they can twiddle them. The hair, goosebumps. That's why I believe in evolution. Goosebumps. You ever wondered why you get goosebumps? Well, it makes your hair stand up on end when you're scared. And that's because when our ancestors were a lot more hairier than we are, and we had hair all over our bodies. So when we got goosebumps, we would look bigger because our hair would look bigger. And because we originally came from Africa, we were black African apes. Our ancestors were black African apes. And a lot of Christians don't object to you saying that they were fish, but they do object to you saying that they were black African apes, because we were. And when we came out of Africa, we went to Europe, and a gene was triggered with the colder weather. And because in Africa there's a lot of albinos born, so when we went to Africa, we migrated from Africa to Europe. With the colder weather, there wasn't as much sun, we evolved white skin, paler eyes, which is just a genetic mutation, but in a cold climate, that was preferable in a cold climate. So we lost the melanin in our skin. And there's also a nerve that runs from our larynx and our pharynx called the vagal nerve. And it goes from the throat and it runs under our heart and back up again into our head. Now, why so long? Well, this vagal nerve, in a giraffe, it goes from the throat of a giraffe way down its neck under a giraffe's heart and back up into the head again. An intelligent designer would just have it going from the head to the throat. But why does it go under the heart? Also in blue whales, the same vagal nerve goes from the throat of a blue whale and down under its heart and back up into its head. Why the long distance? Because this is bad design. This is not intelligent design. So this comes to a conclusion that evolution, that originally we were from the ocean. And even a whale's flipper and a dolphin flipper have the same amount of bones as a human hand. And if you look at the bones of the flippers and a whale, they are like a human hand. Speciation is when one species of animal turns into another, branches off. Classic example are bats. They're mammals that fly like a bird. Seals are mammals that can swim like a fish. We have flying reptiles. I forget the name of that feathered dinosaur that was a bird that had teeth and feathers, And a lot of evolutionist scientists are saying that a lot of dinosaurs actually had feathers. So dinosaurs, birds came from dinosaurs, you know. And just slight variation. This cat is kind of very short-haired, and you get long-haired cats and you get cats that are bald. Sphinx cats are bald. So it's just variation, but under many generations, these slight mutations change an animal into something different. Horses, classic example. You get donkeys. Horses originally had 5 toes, like 5 bones, but they fused into a hoof. And that's why I believe in evolution. Now, a lot of Christians still believe in evolution, but it's not compatible with the Bible. For example, the Catholic Church teaches evolution, but they still teach Adam and Eve. Well, that can't be the case. So we came from fish, and then we went into amphibians and reptiles, and then we came into apes. And then Adam and Eve came along and sinned. Well, that's not true. That's not true, because original sin, Jesus died. We didn't come from Adam and Eve, because there never was an original human pair. There never was original human couple, because you can never pinpoint and say, well, there's a human, because we came from Africa and we were dark-skinned and a lot hairier than we are now. There was never a time we say, well, that's the first human. That's the first human. It's a bit like the English language. You can't point to a time and say, well, that's the English language. That's when the English language first appeared, because the English language has evolved over many centuries. And just like us as babies, we come as a little fetus. 9 months later, we come as a baby. We just don't go poof out of nowhere like Adam did. Adam was just made in one day. No, that doesn't happen. A baby takes 9 months to go from one cell to another cell to another cell, like all animals. So there's a lot of evidence for evolution, and it is a fact. It is a fact. And to me, evolution goes hand in hand with atheism. I am an atheist, and I do not believe that God had anything to do. God's invisible, and usually invisible things don't exist. I know electricity exists, and I know gravity exists. We know those things exist. But when something's invisible and never appears or communicates with us, well, it usually means it's non-existent. So the reason why I'm an atheist is because I look at the evidence, and that we only have one life. Let's enjoy this one life. I truly do not believe in life after death. I believe that once we have this life's over, well, it's over for good. And our pussycat friend here would probably agree, but he's obviously not aware that he is going to die. It's only humans have come to the realization that we die, and it's very disturbing. And why I believe evolution is so disturbing to creationists is that it means they are going to die, and there is no God looking after us. Life is cruel. It's chance. Mutations are a chance. You can get a bad mutation. My beautiful wife Nicole has a bad liver. Some people have bad eyesight. Some people have bad teeth. Some people are born with skin diseases, heart problems, lung problems. It's all mutations, and some of these mutations are good, and if we pass on these good mutations to future generations, that's how evolution starts, by natural selection. When the environment changes, for instance, when we went from Africa to Europe, our skin lightened, right? And the lighter skin absorbed more vitamin D from the sun, and we bred more, and the white gene became stronger than the dark gene, where in Africa the dark skin gene is more beneficial because there's not more sunlight in Africa, and it's better to have dark skin in Africa So we basically came from Africa. We are African apes. I am an African ape. And I'm still pretty hairy. I've still got pretty hairy arms. And it's very interesting. And people don't like, it's very scary to think that there may be no afterlife, that this is the only life we get. We don't get another one. And as I said, I'm a 95% atheist and 5% agnostic. There could be a deist God out there, but I really don't think there is. And there still could be life after death. I'm not 100% sure. That's why I call myself a 95% atheist. And a practicing atheist. I want to be a good person, don't want to harm people, and I believe the world would be better without religion. When it comes to war, a lot of religious leaders say, well, if you die in the war, you die in the war and fight to your country, you'll go to heaven. You'll go to heaven. You'll get resurrected from the dead. If you don't have a blood transfusion, if you deny yourself the blood transfusion and lose your life, you'll be resurrected from the dead. All these things are false. I don't believe they're true. And we should preserve life. We shouldn't go to war with each other. And I think a lot of religious countries are the worst countries off, where there is no medical care, where there's more crime, more murder, because religious countries, I find, depend too much on an afterlife. And even Pharaoh of Egypt told his slaves, if you build my pyramid, you'll be rewarded in the afterlife. And a lot of priests tell their people if they deny themselves the pleasures of life, they'll be rewarded in the afterlife. But I say, enjoy this life. I'm a practicing atheist. Enjoy this life because it's probably the only one we get. I'll put you down, Tommy. It's probably the only one we get. So enjoy it to the full and the maximum. And countries that are more atheistic seem to have better health care, less crime, less murder, because they realise that they only have one life. Countries like Iceland, Sweden, Norway, the Scandinavian countries, France, Japan, they're less religious. They seem to have better social systems, where countries that believe in God, now America, now Australia's halfway between, well, I'll talk about United States of America, they're just above Turkey for the lifestyle. America has murders, they have crime, they have drugs, they have people in prison, America. And majority of Americans believe in creation, they don't believe in evolution. Australia is kind of between America and Scandinavia when it comes to the amount of people who believe in evolution or creation. The Muslim countries, if you were to say you believed in evolution, they would cut your head off in a Muslim country, and they have one of the worst lifestyles on earth, and they would cut your head off if you told them you're a evolutionist. And I believe that evolution and atheism go hand in hand, and I believe that science and religion aren't compatible. They don't go with each other, and because they can't go with each other. Life has no purpose, it has no meaning, it is just what it is. It just is what it is. And life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced, And it's not about living forever that matters. It's creating something or doing something in this life that lives on forever, like music, art, writing, making videos, making movies, things that live on for generations. We don't live on for generations, but what we do in this life can live on for generations, like Elvis Presley, the Beatles, Mozart, Chopin, So it's not about living forever, it's about creating something that lives forever, So I don't mean to be offensive to religious people. As I said, I am 5% agnostic. There still could be life after death. I don't think there is. 95% sure there isn't. And I'm 95% sure that there isn't a God. And I don't think religion and science are compatible. And I don't believe God used evolution to start the ball rolling. I believe that evolution is just by chance, you know. So thank you for watching my video, and thank you again.